So the topic of this panel is cloud and the future of enterprise and infrastructure software. You know, this whole concept of the cloud, it seems as if like the world is coming back once again, because it's not new, right? The whole concept of running programs in a centralized way is being done for many, many, many years, right from the days of the mainframe itself. But what is so different about this next generation of the so-called cloud that people are talking about? I think it's the first thing that I see is things that were impossible in people's mind to be outsourced or to be put on the net that could be shared across multiple people. Seems like, you know, infrastructure as a service or bringing security as a service. How does this security impact this so-called next generation of the cloud computing as people deploy this private cloud, public cloud, right? All of that stuff. How this security is going to play a key role. I mean, we also have innovation, especially in many startup companies, where key security features are being offered on the cloud, which gives you a clean pipe to the internet. So these are some of the evolving things. These are some of the exciting stuff that's going on in this space.
Because if you look at the market offering today, you have basically, as you mentioned, different types of offer. You have the infrastructure offer. On the other hand, you have the Apple and the apps platform, the App Store, which is a very consumer-oriented kind of cloud, but also very proprietary and very closed. And then you have a third category of people like SAP offering a cloud or starting to offer a cloud. We mentioned Salesforce.com or even SAP. We're basically offering a cloud infrastructure based on one single application. In case of Salesforce, it's CRM. In case of SAP, it's by design, which is an on-demand offer. So I believe we're missing one big thing, which is a real-time, business-oriented public network. Something that will allow the different ecosystem that we've mentioned during healthcare, during all the discussion we had, to really perform business in a secured and professional environment in a way where you will be accessing three different sources of data and delivering on something that is optimized for mobile. The third one is this huge amount of data coming from the Internet of Things.
I think there are a lot of varying definitions of cloud, and I really don't think it's all that important what term we use. And I agree that this space is not that new, but that the infrastructure and technology has evolved to the point where we can actually see real value coming through the cloud and through the different businesses that are offering cloud services. But I think that with the consumerization of IT and with the amount of infrastructure that's available out in the business world today and in the internet and how it's evolved into what people call cloud services, we can really start to see the manifestation of the fruits that were envisioned maybe 15 years ago when ASP was starting to come out. So I think there are really three main factors that contribute to determining the success of an enterprise application or infrastructure. The first and absolutely the most is trust. And you hear many people talk about or complain that they're not going to go to a cloud service provider or they're not going to use SaaS because they don't trust that their data can be protected. And so fundamentally, I think that is one of the biggest hurdles that people have to cross, and that SaaS providers, infrastructure as a service providers, platform as a service providers, the cloud in general has to overcome. So the second major factor contributing to the decision whether you go enterprise, application, on-premise, or infrastructure as a service is really about cost. And what is the entry barrier to getting into running your business or your enterprise application? And then lastly, is the velocity of change. And the reason why velocity is so important is there's immediate value to be gained if you don't have to go build an application from the ground up and do months and months and months of customization.
BMC has gone through significant transformation where rather than just simply being a on-premise system software company, we've become a solutions company that is focused on both the data center as well as the cloud. You're never going to get to a point where you will never have any data center. But to a company that builds software for managing data center, this has been a transformational thing for us. Number two, a lot of our customers, the CIOs, they are seeing a change in the business behavior. In other words, you could have a business user question the CIO on 2 or 3 different fronts. So the CIO has to think a little bit differently. They have to be more accountable. They have to be more responsive. They have to change their own behavior. So there is this movement not only from the industry perspective, but our customers are feeling the difference, and we are definitely feeling the difference. So cloud is mainstream in our mind. It's here to stay.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael Madden, and I work for a company called Avid. We have a number of solutions in addition to our editing equipment, including asset management, which becomes very, very critical with the explosion of media. And our technologies are used at all the major broadcasters in the world. Now, our main focus and the 3 things we spend time on are productivity, openness, and collaboration. And as you think about the cloud, right, these are 3 very important dimensions. And in fact, what this is delivering and what we see happening is with the amalgamation of technologies that are coming together to create the cloud, a whole host of disruptive technologies coming out and creating an interesting environment. So the result of all of this ends up being what I would suggest would be the perfect cocktail for continuous and sustainable innovation. And in fact, for vendors who have to compete and participate in the cloud, if you don't have that continuous innovation, then the one thing that you're not going to have then is customer loyalty. Because without that innovation and without that ability for our customers to be able to continue to be agile and drive their businesses forward, the switching costs are so low that they'll be on to the next partner.
So let me ask you, based on this morning's keynote and the afternoon's keynote, right? The whole concept of more with less for more people. So more value for less dollars and applicable to more number of people. So do you believe that this whole concept of this cloud is applicable and will be adapted in emerging markets?
Completely. We had an example on the healthcare situation. We were talking about bringing together the doctors, the insurance, the patients, and the supplier, the manufacturers. They need a place to drive that. They need a place to conduct their business in an economical way. I think that's exactly what we're describing. We have example of retail solutions for very small enterprises, people who have the shops in India. There's 49 million of shops that are making less than 100,000 euros or dollars of revenue per year. And so, but they need to understand their inventory. They need to get loans from the banks, but they cannot afford an IT infrastructure. So that's another example of how this virtualization of resources driven economic will support.
Thank you.